everybody, it's the Lawn Gnome, and welcome to another great film throwback day for November 2015. And since today is Election Day, I felt that it was only appropriate that I would talk about a movie that revolved around a political figure. So this was a movie that I knew was something I always had to see, and it is an Oliver Stone classic film to most. It is JFK, starring Kevin Costner and everybody and their mother. When it comes to Oliver Stone, it's really hit or miss for me. In the early stages of his career, he gave us some of the best movies that I have ever seen, like Platoon, and one of my all-time favorites, Wall Street, but a lot of people have said that JFK really is one of his true classics. It's not that I didn't want to see it, I just never got around to it, so thanks to YouTube, I now have. Now, this movie is a very interesting film because it takes place in one of my favorite historical time periods, and that's the 1960s. Even though we are currently living in a world where things are constantly changing, it was the decade of the 1960s in which the world truly did change. The outlook on life, the way that you live your life every single day of the week, and more importantly, how people's attitudes towards the major names in power really changed, for better or for worse. It's also an excellent film because it's all about the district attorney from New Orleans who realized that the assassination of President John F. Kennedy may not have in fact been as simple as it was, and it could have been a major conspiracy. We all know about all of the hidden videotapes and the ways that the former president did fall in the car, like back and to the left, and the shot that came from the front, or the magic bullet. All of these conspiracy theorists that came together to try and piece together this puzzle to figure out what exactly were the motives of these people, or person, or whatever it was, and why did they do it, and we still don't know the answer. And that is why this film really shined a light on the conspiracy theorists who tried as best as they could to bring this to the public, and we still just don't have the answer. The movie is very engaging. It's very long, but it's very engaging, and it's only because of the cast of characters that are in this movie alongside Kevin Costner. It's actually the people in the film that have the smaller roles that were probably the most impactful for me. John Candy, of all people. Have you ever seen the late John Candy in a dramatic role based on his legacy of comedic films? You also have Joe Pesci in one of his most interesting and unique roles that I've ever seen. Donald Sutherland also has a minor role to play, but when he is on screen for those 10 minutes, it's amazing, and you're just so engaged with what you're watching. And probably the guy who can beat Daniel Day-Lewis in terms of acting any day of the week for me, Gary Oldman, there couldn't have been anyone better to play Lee Harvey Oswald. He looked like him, his mannerisms, everything that I've seen about him in documentaries was so perfect. He was amazing in this movie, even though he's really in nothing but flashbacks. But there is one thing about this movie that I just don't like, and it's Kevin Costner. I don't like this guy at all. You'll hear me rant and rave a little bit more next year when I review Dances with Wolves, and believe me, when it comes around, it's gonna be personal. The thing that makes him so brilliant is he may not be the best actor. I don't think he's a good actor at all. He overacts everything. Everybody else in this movie, including one of my favorite underrated actors, Michael Rooker, everybody else but him is so good. Every single time Kevin Costner opens his mouth, I just hear the over-exaggeration. I just can't stand him. But all of the movies that he's in, except for Dances with Wolves, I love those movies, and that's just because of the fact that he always manages to put himself into a movie with an interesting story and a great cast around him, so you forget the fact that he's in this movie. I love Field of Dreams. I adore 13 Days. Bull Durham, even though he is the main character, is a very entertaining movie, and so is JFK. And I would highly recommend that you go and see this movie if you haven't, because it's a very interesting piece of history that really needs to be seen by many, and I am hoping that when they do in fact unlock the vaults to expose whatever materials have been locked away for so many years, maybe we will finally get some answers in regards to to why John F. Kennedy was killed. All these people believed that he was going to be a real change for this country, and we just never saw it happen. So I am going to give JFK a 3 out of 4. Thank you very much for watching. As always, guys, feel free to put your comments in the box below, and we can always have a good discussion on JFK. I don't really hear many people talking about this movie, or that many Oliver Stone movies in particular, but if you guys want to talk about this one, please do. I'd love to do so. I'll see you in the next one. Actions speak louder than words.